man, these overlays, they're like an onion where there is just overlay upon overlay, layer upon layer, skin upon skin. It's just so multifaceted and so many fragments simultaneously unfolding for everyone all the time, each person at a different layer of the onion, some of us peeling back the same layers simultaneously. I don't even know exactly how to unravel this out loud, but I feel really called to share it because I know a lot of people are going through a lot of it, and like I said, we're all at different phases of it, but we'll see how this goes. I might have to break this into parts. I could lose track of what I'm saying. Who knows how this is going to unfold. You know, like we start superbly naive to what's going on, not just because we're all hypnotized before the age of 8 and pretty much doing whatever it is we were programmed to do at a young age. And some of us are, doing, if we had parents that took care of us, good care of us, they might have given us directions, asked or expected us to go to college or strive for some specific goal. I mean, there's all those stories you hear about, no, you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer or a such and such. And even if that's not going on, you're formed by what surrounds you and the expectations that are around you. And you hit this beginning stage of awakening where you're like, wait, what am I doing and why am I doing it? Am I even doing something that I enjoy doing? And you start to peel back the layers of the onion, right? Then you also start realizing that society is the same exact way. That it's not just the parents, but then even when you think you've got this bit of freedom, you start realizing that even if you break free out of certain aspects of self-imprisonment, if you will, you still end up having to work a 9 to 5 or do a job of some sort, fit into the box that society has kind of put you in one way or another. You start realizing that as an adult, you're still being programmed to a certain degree, even when you think that you've peeled back that layer of onion already. And you can go to so many levels with that about the reasons in which that's being done. But, at the basic level, even if they're at a higher level or they have all the money in the world and all sorts of power, they too are serving the purpose that they were given. Like even people that run countries and towns and the world are still just programmed to their degree. They feel like they have to do this and they have to do that and they have to hold power and they have to control everything and they have to dictate how things should be going and what people should be doing. And, you can take that to the masculine, feminine aspects as well, where, in the beginning, you're definitely programmed to this fairy tale thing, right? Where the man's supposed to take care of the woman and A lot of times there's a woman that seems like a damsel in distress, or this beautiful feminine that's longing for her masculine, or a princess waiting for her Prince Charming, or some aspect of that, when that is definitely a program. And then you get to this point where you peel back the layers of that, and you start hearing these things about needing to merge the masculine and the feminine, and that it should look this way and that way if that's what you're doing. And there's the becoming of the rising phoenix, or the rebirth of the rising phoenix that burnt everything to the ground and began to rebel against it all and not accept any of it as the truth, and stand in their own truth with power. And then there's the masculine that's trying to become merged with their feminine, and maybe not, but that's the ideal situation there that they're trying to push, that the masculine should be in touch with their heart and their soul and their spirit, and understand the grander purposes for things, and become some king, and almost like their own rising phoenix. And then there's these layers that you end up getting to, where you start realizing that that too is a program, and that we're trying to prove something to someone or some system, or we're rebelling against a system, and we feel as though we have to strive for these goals, or like, it even feels like freedom, like, oh, I'm going to do what I want. And don't get me wrong, I do have things that I'm passionate about and that I enjoy doing, but because I'm so intricately deep within myself and simultaneously observing the observers and seeing what dwells beyond all of it, and I mean like galactically, even if there were certain races that created us and put us here for certain purposes, I feel like I'm what dwells beyond that, because I can see the why, and the same pattern running there as well, because it's just intricate patterns, we're created in their image, right? So, except we're given like all sorts of emotions and feelings that keep us replicating patterns and layers, and covered in these veils of illusion, thinking that we're serving one purpose or purpose or another, or serving some agenda of some sort. And what if the whole purpose is just to be present? Because when we're in that whole, I have to prove something to someone, or I'm just gonna do exactly what it is that I feel like doing, I'm completely free. Well, that's an agenda too. It's like a person spends their entire time just trying to prove something to someone or something. Like, what are we trying to prove, and to who? And what are we missing while we're pushing ourselves so hard to accomplish these goals that we say that we need to accomplish, and don't really even know exactly why, and like what the point would be. I get the whole, being a divine inspiration, but I mean, I'm that more so when I'm just doing me. And this right here, what I'm doing is me. I'm doing it for all the aspects of me, do like what's most important to me, which is being fully present. And when doing that, I'm able to leave a ripple in my family line, because to me, what I think is most important is what's happening and unfolding in the present moment. And being present with our children when they're around us, and trying to be around them as much as we can. Um, fully embracing the here and now, allowing beautiful things to unfold, but not staying so focused on doing things that we miss out on what's literally right in front of us. You know, we can go into the whole serving of Babylon if we want, which really just means chasing the dollar and trying to accomplish some goal and reach some status of some sort, or achieve some big dream that we might have, or you name it. It's endless, the goals that we can be striving for that actually keep us from being present with our dog, or doing the dishes, or planting a garden, or breathing in the beautiful air, no matter what you think might be within it. Sitting with the sunrise and the sunset, putting our feet in the sand at the beach, just fully immersed in this life rather than doing this and doing that and tiring ourselves out so much that we don't even have the energy to fully enjoy every day, because we're aiming for some goal that's not even in this present moment, rather than allowing it to just unfold. And I do really well with that, with just kind of flowing with the woo way, going with the flow, seeing what unfolds from one moment to the next. I'm gifted in being visually impaired and having quite a simple life, which kind of happens when you can't drive yourself places and you're as uniquely intricate as I am. I just think that we get lost in so many overlays that we don't even know that we're still in them when we truly think that we're not. And I can feel it when it takes place. I can feel when I'm trying. I don't know if that makes sense, but unfolding isn't trying with all we can and all we have to do, and we shouldn't have to try, and we shouldn't have to isolate ourselves or keep ourselves so busy just so that we don't feel the unfoldment of what's going on within our hearts and within the hearts of the people that are around us. And we avoid bonding and becoming intimate with the reflections that are around at any given moment, even if it's just being present with the air conditioner that's on in my room and the cool air that feels so good, and the dog that's laying on the bed next to me, and the beautiful ambiance of the light that I have that's lit but not too bright, with the paintings that are all over my walls that I enjoyed painting, and not just so that I could sell them, but because I love color and I love to make the world brighter, because it's pretty. Anyway, so do your best not to convince yourself that there's anything that you actually have to be doing unless it's something that feels good and isn't making you escape the reality that you're in, because it gets a little hard to see, and it brings with it a lot of heart opening and healing. And be present with your family and your friends and the people that care for you, because in the end, that's what's going to be most important. Knowing that you experienced time with those that you care for. Make that your priority. God knows I do. I love you guys.